Hey guys, it's Tuesday, so I am back with a new video. My name is Taylor. I am a digital nomad, online business owner, digital nomad lifestyle blogger, you name it, I kind of do it. And this week I wanted to talk about imposter syndrome. I was recently in Denver, Colorado, and someone that I had met while I was there traveling around, and he sent me this link and said, hey, you might be interested. It's Freelancer Biz Week in Denver, which Freelancer Biz Week is actually happens all over the US. They go to different cities, Miami, New York City, Dallas. So if you're interested in checking it out, go check them out online. They might be coming to your city soon or a city nearby you. But it was basically a conference for freelancers going over things that we struggle with. So everything from like marketing and sales and hiring out to health insurance, and in some cases mindset like the imposter syndrome. So this is one of the sessions that I actually made it to. It was hosted by Mary Greiser. Sorry, I don't remember how to pronounce it, but she gave this really amazing session about the imposter syndrome. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about it because I think it's really important for freelancers and other entrepreneurs to understand that this exists, that it's a phenomenon that you will likely experience, and different ways that you can actually combat that. And so maybe to speed up that process of achieving your goals and understanding when this is affecting you. So I'm also going to put a link to her website, More Impact, Less Stress, because she has a lot of experience working with freelancers. So if you want to know more and more about her research, I recommend checking her out. This video is based on the talk that she gave, so I want to make sure that she receives all the credit for everything I'm about to tell you, minus my personal experience. So what is the imposter syndrome or imposter phenomenon? I'm just going to read to you straight from my notes because it's kind of long. But it is basically the phenomenon of objectively competent people doubting themselves, experiencing significant anxiety, or self-sabotaging their success out of the fear that others will discover their success to be a fluke and conclude that they are in fact frauds. So basically what that is saying is that people who are competent in what they do, so whatever it is, whether you're a web designer, copywriter, photographer, whatever services you offer, you are competent in what you do. But you self-sabotage or you doubt yourself, or that others will think that you're a fraud, so therefore you're acting as if you don't deserve success. What this does is it limits your ability to achieve success. It limits how much money you can make, and it only fuels the idea that you are in fact not good enough. So if you've ever had that thought, like, who am I to do this, or I'm not good enough to do this, or that person over there is so much better than I am, I can never get those contracts, all of those thoughts, all those things in your head, that is the imposter syndrome. So we're going to talk about different ways that you can sort of combat those issues once they kind of come up. So some other ways that you can think of this is if you have a fear of being a fraud, fear of failure, fear of success, which is a very real one, which I did a lot of mindset work this year as I was traveling. I read a lot of Jen Sincero's books, which I highly recommend as well, the You Are a Badass series books. And she talks a lot about mindset. And I realized going through those that I actually had a fear of success. And that is the thing that I have actually been trying to work through and break down a little bit. So it sounds counterintuitive, but it is a very real thing. And if you're an excessive procrastinator, chances are that is based on some sort of imposter feelings that you're feeling. There has actually been some research on this. It's not just a made-up phenomenon. Research shows that at least 70% of professionals will experience imposter syndrome at some point. So whether you're starting a new job, or maybe you're learning a new skill, something like that, these thoughts might go through your head. Marie believes that 100% of freelancers experience imposter syndrome, and I think it's true. anytime you have to go out on your own, anytime that you have to sell yourself or your services, it can be really challenging. And so these thoughts are going to come naturally, and that is okay. That's a defense mechanism. That is our brains defending us from being hurt or being embarrassed or being a whole bunch of things. It's a defense mechanism, but it doesn't mean that you can't break through it, and it doesn't mean that there aren't ways to kind of move forward. So these were the top action steps that Marie gave us to combat what she calls the imposter monster, which I think is super cute, and I'm going to keep using that phrase. So the first activity to kind of go through is called objective competency, and this is a list of like skills that you are good at and you're competent at, but you need an objective perspective. So that could be through client testimonials. That could be through professionals you've worked with telling you that you are good at this. It could be through actually receiving money to do some of these tasks. Do not ask your friends and family. This is a professional objective competency that you're trying to receive. Your friends and family likely don't have that objectiveness. You really want to use your network of people that you've worked with or who have worked with you to actually define this. So for me, one of my skills that I came up with that I said I'm good at is system integration. So this is taking clients from one system and integrating them into a brand new system so that their business functions at a higher level and they're able to grow their business. Now, I know that I'm good at this because I've had 2 clients hire me specifically just to do this, just a one-time project. And then I've had ongoing clients ask me to do this too. I've received 5 testimonials based on this task, and I've received payment. So that to me tells me I did a good job, and everyone in the end was happy with the work that I had done. That is an objective, competent skill that I can look back on and say, yes, I've received positives for this. So start there, think about your skills and think about how you can objectively give them an actual, like a number, like how many testimonials did you receive? How many people have hired you to do this? If you're a social media manager, how many clients have you had say, this is the goal I want to achieve, and you achieved or exceeded that goal? That might be a way that you can objectify it. Or how many clients, do they keep coming back? You know, like, is it one and done? Or do you have clients who continue to come back to you? Do your clients offer you referrals? Be like, hey, I worked with this really amazing person. You should also work with that person. That's an objective competence statistic that you can hold on to. So the second thing that she recommends is to have relevant similarities. So that's working with people who match your value system and your vision. So this doesn't mean that every client you work with is going to match you in every area. Maybe they have a different design aesthetic. Maybe they're in a different industry than what you typically work with. But on a general basis, do you guys get each other? Are you excited for whatever their mission statement is, right? Or like their mission or goal as a business? Does that excite you? Or is it so far against everything that you like or believe that you're really struggling to work on that project with them? If that's the case, you're likely going to experience imposter syndrome because it's not a place that you fit in. This is also kind of part of figuring out your niche, figuring out the types of people that you want to work with. So as a freelancer, that means you're your own boss. You no longer have to work with people or companies that don't align or match with your value system. So say you work in the restaurant industry and you're really into organic produce and being green and like kind of, vegan, things like that, you're probably not going to go work at a major chain restaurant that doesn't value those things. You're going to want to work for that restaurant that's growing their own vegetables in the backyard, or that has a connection with a local organic farm, and that's where all their produce comes from. Does that make sense? Like, you're not trying to fit into someone else's value system. You want to work with people who fit into your own value system. And again, that kind of comes into thinking about your niche. So do you only want to work with women entrepreneurs? Do you only want to work with small businesses who are ready to grow and need your help to grow? Do you want to work with solopreneurs and people who are just starting out with their brand and you can help them identify what that brand is? Like, what is it that excites you, and who are the types of people that you want to work with, and find them. Otherwise, you're going to experience a lot of imposter syndrome, because you're going to say, I don't belong here. This isn't where I need to be. And it's probably true, because that's not where you want to be. You want to be with people who excite you. Okay, so the next tip she gave us was to do some cognitive interruptions. So when you start having those thoughts, when your imposter monster shows up full force, what do you actually do? One thing that you can do is actually do some physical movement. Moving your body makes your brain start thinking differently. I don't know the science behind this, but I believe her. But we all know that physical activity is really good for you, right? So if you go for a walk, maybe you go for a run, maybe you just get up and stretch at your desk. We all know that that kind of resets your mind and makes things a little bit more clear. So when you start getting into your head and having all those negative thoughts, do some physical movement. She also recommended that you do some stretching, like cross body, because there's something about you reaching across the other hemisphere of your brain that kind of changes the chemistry of it. So do some like cross body stretching. And the other thing that we did as a room full of people, which was really fun, but she threw out these little monsters. So everyone in the room got one, and these are our imposter monsters. And the idea behind this, and you'll actually hear quite a few different mindset speakers discuss this. So Todd Herman is one of them, and I've heard a handful of other people say this too. But give your monster a face, give him or her a name even, and give them a voice. But give them a silly voice. Don't give them like a, I'm gonna tell you, you can't do this type voice. Give it a itty bitty tiny voice that says, Taylor, you can't do that, you're not good enough. When you hear that voice, it's really hard not to laugh and say, you know what, imposter monster? I don't believe you. I don't believe you, and I'm going to keep doing this because it's part of my goals, and I'm a business owner, and this is what I have to do for my business. Thank you, goodbye. So you give it a silly, high-pitched voice, and so anytime you hear those negative thoughts, give it that voice or give it that name, whatever you want to call it, and that right there will decrease some of the stress and anxiety you're feeling. Also, saying whatever your fears are out loud decreases their hold on you by 60%. Crazy, I know. But just saying them out loud, just sharing them with other people actually releases a lot of those negative thoughts that you're feeling. And then if you give them a silly voice, it really helps. So this is my little imposter monster. We had fun at the conference. And then the last tip that she had, which I actually fully agreed and believed with, was find a meaningful community. So it's good to have people in your community that do what you do. So if you're a developer, if you're a designer, if you're a photographer, whatever it is, it's good to know who those people are. It's good to commiserate with one another and ask questions and be like, how do you handle this? And what's your advice for these things? But when you don't get out of your community, those people who do what you do, you think that everybody knows how to do what you do, which is not true. I actually met a girl when I was in Denver who was a website designer and brand strategist. And she was just like, I don't really know what I can offer because everyone can build a website. I was like, girl, no, not everyone can build a website. I was like, I've built my own websites, but even I've had to hire out aspects of it that I couldn't figure out or didn't know how to figure out. And someone else could probably build it a lot better than I could have. Not everybody has the same skills as you, but when everyone in your community does the same thing that you do, you think that everybody does, and you don't know what it is that you can offer and what value you actually can provide to people. So networking, getting outside of your niche, or not outside your niche, but getting outside of your direct contacts, your direct network, meeting other people who do different things and understanding like, hey, I could actually help you with this if that's what you need. And then meeting them you will help meet other people and you will get referrals that way. So build a meaningful community, but don't just do it full of people that are just like you. Create some variety. So that's it. That is imposter syndrome. That is what Marie calls the imposter monster, and those are different ways to help you overcome it when those thoughts creep into your head. Again, in the notes below, I will add Marie's website, and I will add the links to the different studies that have been done on the imposter phenomenon if you want to learn more about this and different ways that you can combat it in your life. Just want everyone to know that it's normal to feel this way. Everybody feels this way, regardless of the success that they currently have or have had. It's normal, it's okay. But don't get stuck there, overcome it, and you will do great. So thanks for watching. Again, I'm here every Tuesday, and if you don't want to miss an episode, be sure to subscribe. I will see you next week.